This is going to be Stratholme service entrance as a holy priest. So, healing specialization I have not shown yet. I wanted to show this for a few reasons. Just to demonstrate how Holy Priest works, and also because we got 2 Demon Hunters in this classic dungeon from separate servers, both level mid-110s, party synced down to a level that can run this dungeon. So that's a weird coincidence. I've only seen like 4 Demon Hunters ever in classic dungeons, and these were 2 of them. Anyway, so, we know about this dungeon. I've seen this plenty of times, even recently, but this was just a real good showcase of everything. So, Vengeance Demon Hunter jumps like that. Havoc Demon Hunter does something similar. I don't really know super well how they work. I don't play one. That might change someday, but not right now. So let's talk about the Holy Priest. It was a priest specialization that I had avoided for the longest time, for no good reason, really, other than just that I liked Discipline so much, so why try the other one? Because Discipline's so good. I still like Discipline better, but I'm now comfortable with Holy, and it's fine. It works. It very much feels like just the basic concept of a healing class. It's just like everything is simple and straightforward with it. And throughput's good. Mana efficiency is fine. Damage output. So let me tell you something ridiculous. If I wanted to be a damage dealer, I measured doing my rotation perfectly as a Shadow Priest on a target dummy, and doing my rotation perfectly as a Holy Priest, which is a lot simpler. Not very many attack spells, but there are a few. Holy did more damage. Shadow Priest actually does less damage, at least at the level that I'm at now, than Holy, when both are working at their full throughput. So I'm a better damage dealer as a Holy Priest than I am as a what's supposed to be the damage dealing specialization of Priest. Shadow's just like broken. I don't know, it just doesn't work. Maybe it gets a little better at higher levels, but it's just something is wrong with it here when Holy does more. So anyway, spells. Oh boy, this looks dicey. Demon Hunter, level 117 or whatever, has come in here all confident, assuming she's going to be able to just take this like, you know, any dungeon. Jump into the middle, handle everything. It'll be no problem, right? This right here is always a problem spot. When Party Sync brings you down to the level of going through these classic dungeons, you don't really have any extra power. You're tuned just like, you know, a level 117 scaled down to 60 is the same as this level 40-some or whatever he is right now. Right, yeah, Tauren Priest, just because I find Tauren Priest kind of funny. Big, beefy, giant guy who's cloth-wearing healer. I don't know. This is my second character just so I could level a Holy Priest and see what that's like. I'm going to cap this one at 60 and keep him around for party sync so that I can do what these Demon Hunters are doing, and bring my higher level characters back to classic dungeons if I ever get in the mood for that. But yeah, then at that point Tiska, my Heroic Priest, can just, you know, I'm comfortable with Holy, and if I want a higher level Holy Priest, she can be it. But she's still Discipline primarily. Anyway, so I haven't talked about my spells yet. So attack spells are Smite, Discipline also gets that. Holy Fire. Used to have a cast time, last I knew, but last I knew was several expansions ago. Now it's instant. Has a little cooldown on it. Has an instant damage component and a damage over time component to it. Just use it whenever the cooldown is up. Smite in the middle. Then my number 3 on my attack bar is Holy Word Chastise. So that's a unique one. Has a longer cooldown than Holy Fire. And does a large amount of damage and also stuns for 4 seconds. The stun is broken by damage, but I also have a talent I can take later that makes it not broken by damage. So I get some options about that at some point. There's a quest item here that people are ignoring. Oh, and right, Holy Word Chastise's cooldown is reduced every time I cast Smite. So if I chastise, smite, 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 you can see the little clock wipe on it, gaining a little bit of time every time a smite lands. Oh, hold on. So before I talk about my healing spells, all right, 4 is Holy Nova, same as Discipline, nothing exciting. So Baroness Anastari, something really, really special is going to happen here. So check this out. As soon as Mind Control goes out for the first time, okay, it goes on the Vengeance Demon Hunter. That's not a big deal. Just damage her down to half, stop damage, and then it'll break. I guess it's the second Mind Control that does this. So this is the third reason I'm showing this run. We're gonna have some fun in a moment. Oh right, Smite has a chance to reset the cooldown on Holy Fire. So I just get extra Holy Fire sometimes. Damage over time thingy can stack up to 2. So keep it applied as much as I reasonably can, but I don't really get control over it. It expires before... Okay, so a Shrieking Banshee has gotten involved here. I used Shackle Undead on it. And immediately I get mind-controlled. Now watch this. My mind-controlled character decided to use Psychic Scream, sending someone into a whole group of extra dudes who are off there on the side. I'm still mind-controlled at this point, by the way. Mage thought to polymorph me, that's good. So party doesn't have their healer at the moment. I'm still mind-controlled, by the way. He's healing something, someone, somewhere. Probably not anyone in my party. Can't attack while charmed. Vengeance Demon Hunter's dead. Everybody is focusing on completely the wrong thing. I could have said something about this, I guess, but I guess I found it funny and I was just going to let the chaos play out however it plays out. 2 minutes. Oh, so this mind control can expire naturally. It just takes minutes to do it. 1 more minute left. Shaman finally figured out that it's really important to do something to me right now. Should break any moment. I was expecting to die here, but somehow it breaks right before I die. So that's what happens if a priest gets mind-controlled. Everyone runs to the location, and then he'll use Psychic Scream. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, very important to focus on the mind-controlled party member. That gives a reason to potentially kill that group of enemies before you take on Baroness Anastari. Anyway, that was fun for me. I don't know if it was fun for anyone else, but I enjoyed it. Okay, so with that done, let's talk about healing spells. My number 1 is Heal. It is equivalent to... Okay, so I have Heal and Flash Heal on 1 and 2. It's identical in function to the Paladin's Holy Light and Flash of Light, and the Shaman's Healing Wave and Healing Surge. Let's see, does anybody else follow this pattern? Mistweaver doesn't, Discipline doesn't. What's the other one? Holy, Discipline, Other Holy, Mistweaver, Restoration, Other Restoration, Druid. Druid doesn't have an equivalent to this. But yeah, so Paladin, Holy Priest, and Shaman all get the slow cast high efficiency healing spell and the quick cast one. So that's what my heal and flash heal are. Number 3 is Renew. It's a very weak heal over time. There's a quest item back here that nobody's interacting with. I was going to go back for it, but I decided that'd be a bad idea. This mage makes a different decision. She goes and picks it up. I'm watching carefully because that's going to summon a Blackguard Swordsmith. We're taking the more unconventional eastern route here. Usually people go west. It's a little bit more direct. This way works too, but it's different. It's more convenient to get the Blackguard Swordsmith. There it is, on the way back if you're doing that. I approved of what this mage did. So I gave her an emote. Anyway, yeah, so heal, flash heal, renew. Now the real interesting one here is my number 4 on my healing bar. Holy Words no, not Sanctify, that's a different one. Holy Word Serenity. So it has a long cooldown, kind of similar to Holy Word Chastise. And similarly to that, it's reduced by casts of Heal and Flash Heal. It's an instant zap that can do a huge amount of healing. When I first got it, the tuning was such that it would do literally my entire health bar in healing. And a tank, which has a little more health, almost their entire health bar. So like, if you're low, just hit a Holy Word Serenity if it's available and your health is full. It's great. At this point, the tuning's changed so that it only does like half a health bar, but still, it's a lot. Like, heals that hit for that much barely exist. This is one of the few. So yeah, decent cooldown on it, reduced by heal and flash heal. So basically, like, my super high throughput healing mode would be renew if I get a moment and it isn't up, though that might not be worth it. Flash heal until Holy Word Sanctify is off cooldown. No, not Sanctify, that's a different one. Serenity. So yeah, Serenity, renew if it's not up, flash heal until Serenity is up, then Serenity whenever it's off cooldown. So that's how I get apparently the maximum throughput with this. By the way, Discipline Priest back in Cataclysm, last time I had played one, had access to all of these spells other than Holy Word Serenity. I had heal, I had flash heal, I had Greater Heal, that doesn't exist anymore. I had Renew, I had Prayer of Healing. So Prayer of Healing, number 5. No cooldown, with a cast time, full party healing spell. So, just cast it and everybody gets a little bit of healing all at once. Again, yeah, Holy Priest is very direct and basic and to the point. You know, hit the button and health bars go up after the cast completes and stuff. 6 is the same as Discipline, that's Purify, I think, remove disease and magic. And 7, that's Holy Word Sanctify. I actually mean it this time. It is, it's an interesting one. It's kind of like a Holy Word Serenity that targets an area for some reason, then anyone near that area will be healed for a pretty large amount. Yeah, and like Holy Word Serenity, yeah, so it's like the group healing analog of that. Every time I cast Renew or Prayer of Healing, Holy Word Sanctify's cooldown is reduced. I used it earlier right before Baroness Anastari, when you saw that big green circle in the ground. I'll probably use it again at some point in here. But anyway, it's real good. Holy Priest's Toolkit is quite nice. And I'm glad I decided to get comfortable with it. Because it is a cool alternative to Discipline. I still like the Discipline playstyle better, but I do acknowledge Holy Priest is at least easier to use, and in a lot of situations probably would have better throughputs. It's just not as much fun for me. But it's still plenty of fun. I like all the healers. They're all good. There have been various times that I haven't liked all of them, but at this point, I'm comfortable with all 6, and they're pretty cool. Still my favorite role in the game, definitely. Oh yeah, 9. Guardian Spirit. 3-minute cooldown. Target gets 60% increased healing for, is it 10 seconds? I think so. 60% increased healing, and it guards against mortal damage in some way. Like a killing blow will not kill you if you have Guardian Spirit on you or something. Anyway, yeah, so button to press if really heavy damage is happening and my flash heal, Holy Word Serenity, can't keep up. Holy Word Sanctify is absolutely worth using, even on single targets. Just because it's a pretty large amount that is an instant cast once you target and click with it. So that one would also be in the rotation for maximum throughput on one target. And I guess that would make the Renew cast a little bit more worth it. Renew is very bad, by the way. It does less than a heal and barely more than a flash heal over its entire 15-second duration. So it's basically like a Renewing Mist minus all the benefits of Renewing Mist. you get a tiny bit of healing over time. Basically, like, it's a button I would press if we are moving. I can't stop and do a hard heal cast. And the party's just down, like, 1/20th of their health bar, and I want to top them off. Other than that, it's barely worth anything. Maybe the tuning makes it better later. What's this aura on my screen? I just noticed there was a little couple of half circles above me. They were barely there. Was that probably Holy Word Serenity coming off cooldown? Because it does want to tell me about that. It's important to know. Oh, and also, the number 9 on my action bar is War Stomp. Tauren Racial has a very short little cast time, but stuns everything all around me. It's a lot like Leg Sweep with a cast time on it. That's not a priest thing, that's a Tauren thing. And 0 is Psychic Scream, the one I used while mind controlled. Right, minus Shackle Undead, the one I used right before I was mind controlled. So yeah, that's like Repentance, like... Boy, I'm getting pretty aggressive here. Just coming in here on my own to deal with this. It's fine. These are not too threatening. Yeah, like I was talking about when I put up Vortex Pinnacle earlier today, Paralysis has no, is a standard crowd control spell with no special requirements or anything. Shackle Undead is the priest's version of that only works on undead. So, it's hard crowd control, but you can only use it on one enemy type. War Stomp, I think, is my only reason to want to be in melee range. Everything else I can do from a distance. So I don't have, like, Light of Dawn. How long has it been since I showed a Holy Paladin run? I got another one I'll be showing at some point soon, so I can talk about that then. I'm not sure if I had Light of Dawn at that point. Anyway, don't worry about it. But yeah, at least... Holy Nova. That's the only other reason I might want. Holy Nova's not very good, though. It doesn't do much. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit of healing and a slightly less tiny bit of damage to everything around. I would use it in, like, that spot with the insects here if I had gotten trapped inside. I think I was trapped... I was locked out of that, and other party members were dealing with it. But yeah, that would be one of the few places for Holy Nova. Very large number of very small health enemies around. There was Holy Word Sanctify. Yeah, so target it. People take a large amount of healing. It's nice. This Vengeance Demon Hunter likes to get large groups of dudes all together. So yeah, when I came into this dungeon and inspected the 2 Demon Hunters up front, I had read, okay, 2 people from Moonguard, 2 party synced Demon Hunters, they must be together. It took me a bit to realize that they were from separate servers. So like 2 individual people randomed into this dungeon together, both with party synced Demon Hunters, and only one with an actual friend along to be their sync targets. Just thought that was interesting. Holy Word Sanctify gets all shiny when it comes off cooldown, just like Holy Word Serenity. Holy Word Chastise doesn't do that. All these holy words. There we go, Serenity. Or, no, that was Sanctify. They both start with S. It's easy to mix them up. They're both holy words. At least Chastise starts with a C, so I can tell them apart. Yeah, so her health bar was down by half. I just Serenity her, and she's back up. No problem. I can go back to attacking. What am I trying to do? I don't know. Some button I was pressing was not working because I had the wrong target or something. Alright, well, I've shown and said everything I had to show and say about this dungeon, but we still have a bit of dungeon left, so I guess I'll play it out just because, you know, because it's here. The rest of this goes pretty normally. Nobody gets locked out at Argus Rivendare. Nobody dies. Everything goes smoothly. But we can still just see that happen. So Demon Hunter, apparently defining feature of the class is extremely high mobility. They have... that looked basically like an equivalent of a heroic leap. Like if you were a warrior. Havoc Demon Hunters get it... well, I mean, Arms of Fury warriors get that too. So that's nothing new. I don't really know how they work other than that. I guess I really should play one. I just don't want to be a Blood Elf. I guess I could be a Night Elf, but then I'd be on the Alliance. Wouldn't be able to play with the characters I'm playing right now. I probably will do that just to learn like what buttons they have and how to react to them if I ever need to know anything specific to a Demon Hunter, you know, as a healer or a damage dealer. Or if I'm ever in a situation where I have to like choose a tank or a... well, I should know about Havoc Demon Hunters too. Apparently they're real good at what they do. So I hear. And yeah, I mean, why would my quest to understand every class in this game stop at the first 11? I should learn the 12th one. Someday. Eventually. It's not a priority for me right now. But someday. I'm kind of hoping that more race options will open up before that day comes, but they probably won't. Might happen someday, but probably not in the next, you know, 6 months or whatever. Maybe next expansion, maybe in the future after that. Maybe never. Maybe they'll always just be Blood Elf, Night Elf, and nothing else. It might seem like a silly reason not to play a class, but it is my reason. A more real reason is that most of my focus right now is on getting all of my party members synchronized at, well, where they've landed is middle of Burning Crusade rather than Lich King dungeons. Most of my characters right now are level 70, and I am now doing the thing I said I was going to do, where I run every character who is synchronized at that level through the same dungeon, all in a row. So like today, I worked most of my characters through Mana Tombs. That's actually been extremely good for learning the dungeon, and by the time I got to those dungeons, I had a pretty good grasp on how each class plays. So, you know, just switch modes to whichever class I'm going to play for that dungeon, run the dungeon once on each, you know, do a damage dealer first, then a healer, then a tank, so that I'll know what I'm doing, what the route is, what to watch for by the time I'm leading the group. Then, you know, rotate through my other damage dealers, healers, and tanks. Because, you know, all of those categories have multiple members in them. And then I will know for sure that I have video footage for every role in each one of those dungeons. And if the dungeon goes well on my Death Knight tank, then I have the opportunity to run my Druid and Paladin as healers, which is fun, and I don't get to do all that much, so I like having the opportunity. So yeah, you'll start seeing the fruits of those labors soon enough. It's working well. I was worried I'd get like super sick of the dungeon. I think for some of them I might. I'm probably just gonna like skip Violet Hold. I'll do one tank run there because I haven't had a tank perspective on that yet. But everybody else can just not run that dungeon because it takes forever and there's nothing interesting about it. So yeah, I have some flexibility for stuff like that. But for any dungeon that has that actually interests me, which is most of them, just only a few don't, then yeah, running it back to back on every class I have available at that level is just a real good way to learn. Repetition, seeing it from all the different perspectives. It's good stuff. It's actually working fine. Everybody knows how to handle the door. Everybody who needed to. I didn't run in and start the combat early this time. Only done that once. And now I know where the zone is. Once was as many times as I needed to learn. Very little damage during this fight. I'll cast a couple of healing spells, but I can mostly just attack. This is just osmosis based on what I've read. I don't know how accurate it is, but my understanding is that Demon Hunters, a feature of them is that they have leech, so every damage they deal heals them a little bit. I think that's something everybody can get, just like as a stat. But Demon Hunter gets more somehow or something. I don't know, maybe it's not accurate. Oh, by the way, that was Angelic Feather. I can place it right under my feet and it'll speed me up. It's an alternative to Body and Soul. Well, not an alternative in the Holy Priest's case, because Holy Priest doesn't get Power Word Shield. I could take Angelic Feather as Discipline if I wanted to, for my speed boost instead of Body and Soul, but I prefer Body and Soul when it's an option. And yeah, I placed it down so that she would get it instead, if she wanted a speed boost, because I had one more feather to place. Anyway, that was fun. That's how a Holy Priest works. Probably won't be seeing that character again, but maybe someday Tiska will play that specialization. Maybe not, though, because I do like Discipline. See you next time.